In today's episode of Rise Above, we sit down with Brittany Logan. Brittany is 5 years clean and sober at just 15 years old. Brittany had her first drink, soon followed by a pill, heroin, and crack addiction. She had 7 totaled cars, multiple arrests, and then began selling herself just to support her addiction. The drugs stopped working after a while, and she was forced to surrender. Once she surrendered, she got clean and sober and proves in this episode that life is worth living on the other side. Let's get into it. Brittany, I want to welcome you. Thank you for coming on, and congrats. Today is your 5 years.
Yes, it is.
Clean and sober. Congratulations.
Thanks.
Did you think 5 years ago you'd be here with 5 years sober?
Absolutely not. Not in a million years could I have imagined.
It's crazy, right?
Yeah.
It's crazy. And it starts with one day at a time.
Yeah.
And keeping it within the day, not thinking long term. A lot of respect. I appreciate you coming out here from Fort Lauderdale, close by. You moved down here to get sober, you were telling me before we started.
Mm-hmm.
And you're originally from Connecticut.
Right.
So you're a fellow Northeasterner.
I am.
Take us through early childhood. What was growing up like? What was the family dynamic?
Okay, so my parents divorced when I was about 3 months old. My father is an alcoholic, and my mother completely normal. And it was split custody. My mother had primary. I would see my father every other weekend. And I say that I lived a double life from, a baby pretty much, I'd go to my father's and it's like fast food, fun, do whatever you want, like, chaos, whatever. No rules, no structure. Mother's house, dinner at 5 o'clock with the family, where there's a lot of structure, there's punishments, there's I'm in dance classes by the age of 3. Basketball, I played basketball for, a lot of my childhood, so there was a lot of structure there. But on the other hand, I go to my father's and it's a mess.
You can act one way too
Mhm.
at your father's, and then you have to act a certain way at your mom's.
Yeah. And my mom said it was like she had to retrain me every time I'd go home, like a dog, like because I would just be out of control.
It's interesting that you pointed that out. Did you come to that realization? I mean, obviously you sense it in the moment, but did you always feel that growing up as if like you were living 2 different lifestyles? Or did you really start to recognize that once you came into sobriety?
Yeah, I recognize that in sobriety for sure.
Yeah.
I didn't even think about that before,
Yeah. It's crazy because when that happens at such a young age, you've like unlocked this new thing in your brain. For addicts and alcoholics, for me, manipulation was, I manipulated everyone.
Mm-hmm.
I would change my behavior around certain people. Then it was like, where do I even fit in? Who am I?
Yeah.
Did it cause confusion when you were younger?
I'm from what I can remember, I know that I became very frustrated and very angry, as I got a little bit older, like 5th grade, 6th, 7th, that age group. I just became angry, and I could never understand why. Like I would take it out on my mother, take it out when I'm at school. I'd be getting in trouble and, causing chaos there. And I could never figure out why. And I think it's just because my life was so, what do you call it? Like chaotic and just, I didn't know what was going on.
Yeah.
I didn't know why they hated each other. I didn't know why I was being shuffled back and forth, so.
Did they get along?
No, they hated each other. They still do. I mean, they've hated each other for as long as I've known.
Yeah. So you felt that animosity too,
yeah.
probably.
And I heard it too, from one end and the other end.
Yeah. Did you have siblings?
No, only child.
Wow. Okay. Only child. So you said you played basketball.
Yeah.
Were you always involved growing up? Like with sports and like clubs and stuff like that?
Yeah. And dancing was a bigger outlet for me. I did that from the age of 3 to like the age of 20. Basketball I stopped after middle school. But I loved to dance. It's really what kept me going,
Yeah. What was high school like for you?
High school, just crazy. I mean, that's when I started drinking. That's when I really started drinking, about age 15. So like I always say, like I remember being in the basement of a friend's house. We took shots of Southern Comfort and, from there, like, I just didn't stop and I didn't want to stop. It was never like, let's go out bowling and have fun and like, or go to a movie. It's like, we need to get the bottle before we can do any of the following. Like, I'm not doing anything without my drink. Like,
Same. I had same mindset, but I thought that was normal. I thought that was normal because my friends were kind of doing the same thing. We were all like, okay, let's do this and then we can do that. Right? Like, let's get right and then we can go do that. But when we were even drinking the bottle, it's like I was like sizing the bottle up and how many people were in on it. Was it going to be enough for me to get me drunk? And I would be in my head just overthinking, is it enough? And are they taking too much? Am I going to have enough? And I'd get drunk and I'm like, well, I'm going to come down from this drunk at one point. I need to get more. And it was just always the next one.
yeah. I would always make sure I had enough. Like, I'm not going to buy one bottle. I'm going to buy like 3 or I'm going to buy the handle because I have to make sure I cannot run out.
Yeah. Do you pick up drugs in high school or was it just primarily drinking?
I smoked some pot, Everybody was doing that too. That was pretty normal. So that was about it for high school though. But it was still, and we were drinking before class. We were drinking during class. I remember one year we had a pep rally. It was my senior year. And the principal, it was his first day on the job, and he comes in and he points at me and he's, get up, let's go. And because I was drunk, I was just drunk, bopping up and down the bleachers, going crazy. I don't know what I was doing, to be honest, but yeah. And I was like, don't tell my mom, let's call my dad.
So all right, that was another thing with repercussions. Your dad was a little lighter on you.
Right. So, because he understood, because he also, has the isms, I could just go to him and that he would be my go-to and he'd get me out of anything because, and that was like our bond, our connection. He would buy me alcohol, because he knew he thought I would love him if he did this for me,
Wow. Wow. Okay. The validation on his end.
Yeah. That's the only way he knew how to relate to me, I think.
Got it. So you graduate high school.
Yeah.
What do you do after high school?
I went to college. I went to a school in Boston, an art school, for video production. And it was crazy there. I didn't even make it through I made it to the first semester. I got kicked out of the dorm. Like, I beat my roommate up with my laptop, drunk. And luckily they just kicked me out of the dorm. And then by the end of that year, I was kicked out of the school altogether. I mean, I was drinking around the clock. I always had marijuana on me. I was always smoking. I would keep a cigarette pack with joints all the time. Like, everybody, because especially at an art school, like, everybody's like
smoking weed.
Yeah, smoking weed for sure.
Yeah.
Like, no short supply there. And then everybody's drinking. Again, I'm drinking during class. It's just like an extension of high school. Like,
right.
For me.
College was confusing for me because everyone was doing drugs and drinking like I was. But also, too, I would go a little harder with the drugs. I would take it one step a little further. Was there any kind of sense of awareness in the sense that you felt like you were a little different, or did you just feel like this is what everyone's doing during college?
I still thought that this was normal. I was like, this is fine.
Even after getting kicked out of school?
Yeah. I had already transferred schools. So for me, I was like, well, this doesn't matter. So I just kind of like brushed it away, brushed it under the rug. Like, it didn't even happen. Like,
so you took a preemptive measure. Did you feel like it was coming to an end at that first college and you're like, I need to switch out before?
No. I did. Honestly, I didn't. I was just, I was really close with my family and I felt like I was too far from them.
Okay. So you moved a little closer to home.
Yeah.
Okay. How was the next college?
Awful. That was really like high school. Everybody was already like in friend groups. It was my sophomore year. So I didn't fit in right away, I felt like. And I felt like I had to drink more to like figure out where I fit in to relieve some of that anxiety and that stress that I felt, so, and people didn't want to be around me. Like, a lot of people like didn't know how to, they were like, what the heck is wrong with this girl? But I didn't see that at the time. Looking back, I can see it.
So people were distancing themselves from
Yeah.
you because of your drinking and drug use.
Yeah. Like
Okay.
they'd invite me out one time and then like I would wonder why they wouldn't invite me out again.
You'd get drunk and start a fight or something like that, or black out and just
Black out, probably take my clothes off. I don't know. Like
Yeah.
just ridiculousness.
Okay.
Like,
All right. So you're probably like 19, 20 around this time.
yeah.
Do you end up graduating from that college?
Not until I get sober.
Okay, great. Well, that's
Yeah.
amazing. Congrats.
Yeah. Thank you.
10 years later. No.
Yeah, literally.
So, okay, you eventually leave that school.
Mhm.
Where does life go from there?
Well, I didn't leave. That's the thing. I was in and out for almost all those 10 years.
Okay.
Like, so yeah, so I get to my junior year, I believe. Yeah, my junior year. And at this point, I come out as gay. I meet a girl, right? And she's the love of my life. And it's super toxic and super, just abusive, really, really bad. Really, really bad. I mean, she threw me in the trunk of her car, drove me 45 minutes. She beat my face in, like, to the point where my nose was broken. My eyes were just so black and blue. And even at that point, I still begged her to stay, like, with me. She ended up leaving me because this is what I thought I deserved. My self-esteem was so in the gutter. And, like, for me, I was like, this is true love. Like, this is love. It's,
She's doing this to me out of love.
out of love.
Whoa.
Yeah. And a lot of the abuse was due to my drinking too, because, or the fighting, I should say, because, I'm getting drunk, I'm flirting with people, I'm, telling her I won't drink, and then I'm off in the corner with a drink, and it's causing a lot of fights. It's causing a lot of issues.
Yeah.
So I feel like it's my fault,
A lot of people who've done the hard work of getting sober still struggle with something that won't quit. Not a craving, but unwanted, disturbing thoughts that bring guilt and shame and keep coming back. For some people, that may be OCD. Real OCD isn't just about organizing. It can involve persistent, intrusive thoughts that feel completely out of character, followed by mental or physical behaviors you feel driven to repeat for relief. For people in recovery, OCD can go unrecognized for years because it may look like anxiety or feel like part of the recovery process, but it's treatable. NoCD is the world's leading provider for OCD treatment. Their licensed therapists specialize in ERP, or exposure and response prevention therapy, and provide live face-to-face virtual sessions plus support between sessions. NoCD is covered by insurance for over 138 million Americans. To book a free 15-minute call, visit nocd.com. That's NOCD.com. In a sense that, like, I deserve this.
Yeah.
Okay, so you eventually get out of that relationship. And then what are you doing for work at this time?
What was I doing? I think I was working like at the UPS store. I wasn't doing anything great because I was kind of like in school, and I don't really know that I was working so much. I think I just had a little part-time job.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, what's going on with your parents? Do they notice at this point you're drinking? I'm assuming you're around your early 20s at this point. Do they sense something in terms of you drinking too much? Does anyone say anything to you?
Well, I actually missed a very important detail. I just realized when I left that college, the first college, I got my first DUI.
What happened? Tell us the story.
Oh my goodness. So we were partying in a parking lot in Connecticut, like a Wendy's parking lot. And I drank like a liter of vodka to my face within like a couple of hours. And I got behind the wheel of the car, and I'm with my best friend at the time, and we're driving back home. We were going to throw a rock through my ex's window. We stopped at the Taco Bell. I dropped her off, and I'm up the street from my house, like less than a mile. And I look in the rear view, and I see lights behind me. And as I look up, I swerved because I can't drive and look and do all the things and be drunk. So I swerved. And as soon as I swerved, those lights went off. And I was like, oh no. I pulled over and, I'm obviously trying to lie to the cop. Like, I have not been drinking. Like, what? No, not me. But, they do the sobriety test and sure enough, I got cuffed up and they took me to a holding cell. But I wasn't concerned, did I hurt someone? Did I hurt, thank God I didn't hurt myself. Did I hurt someone else? It was, don't put my name in the paper. I was begging the cop, don't put my name in the paper. I don't want people to know that I have a problem. Like,
Yeah, of course.
And at that time I still didn't even think I had a problem. So I was like, I'm 18. Like, this is what everybody's doing. This is not a problem. This is normal. Just a little bit of bad luck. So yeah, I was just begging him not to put my name in the paper, and then my mom got me a fancy lawyer and I literally just lost my license for a few months and I had to go to some drug and alcohol classes. But
now this was somewhat of a come to Jesus moment with your parents. Now, your mom and dad aren't getting along, but do they come together to speak with you about this? Or was this more a reprimanding from your mother?
my mother, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And complete the classes, and she just thinks it was one bad night.
Yeah, she took the keys. I think with my mom and her side of the family, I think we they like to brush things under the rug. I don't think they knew how to handle me. I was through all of high school and all of that. I was very, I was crazy. Like, if they would try to give me a punishment, if they would try to, tell me what to do, I'm going to lash out. I'm going to punch a hole in the wall. I'm probably going to punch you in the face. And I'm going to be screaming in your face at the top of my lungs until I get my way, until I scare you enough to get my way. That's like the person I became. Like,
it's that Northeast mentality.
It's
Jesus.
nuts. It was crazy.
Okay. You were very angry
Really.
young lady.
Yeah. I wanted to get my way. I had to get my way.
Yeah. Okay. So back to your 20s.
Yes.
You get out of that abusive relationship. Do you enter into another relationship?
With drugs.
Okay. Let's go there.
Yeah. So that's when, towards the end of that relationship, before it even ended, I met somebody in college. My roommates hated the girl, so they urged me to hang out with this guy. And I was like, all right, he has a street bike. He has his own apartment. Sure. Sounds fun. And I start hanging out with this kid. And, he introduces me to, Percocet, to blues. So, I didn't really know what he was doing at first. And I couldn't really understand why he was like crushing them up and snorting them. I didn't really know anything about it, But at some point I told him that I had tried to, off myself. I don't know the proper thing to say.
Yeah, no, you're good. Yeah.
I tried to off myself, and I told him that I had kept some of the pills. And I showed him at some point what I had left, and he pointed at, I guess I had a perk in my hand, and I had taken them from my father, by the way.
Yeah.
And I did this, and I kept some. And he's like, those blue ones, can you get more of those? And I was like, yeah, no problem. They're just in my dad's cabinet, like. And then he explains to me, and he's like, here, try this. And I tried it, and I loved it.
What was the first feeling like when you did the blue?
Like I could breathe. I didn't feel anything. Like it was better than anything I had ever done in my, like, even better than the alcohol, better than all that. It was like, yes, this is it.
This is it. That's the exact same feeling I had. It's like all the chaos in my head just went away. All the self-talk gone. I could run for president. I could get any job I want.
Anything.
I can come up with all these ideas.
I'm invincible.
Mm-hmm.
That's exactly how I felt.
And then the euphoric body high was amazing.
Oof.
Yep.
I was really itchy the first time, though, and I didn't like that. But I was like, we have to do it again just to make sure.
My nose. I would just sit there scratching my nose.
Everything was itchy. I was so itchy.
Yeah. My whole body would just be red. Yeah. So, okay.
Mhm.
You assume you're immediately off to the races.
Yeah. So really shortly after I started doing that, like, I mean, within a few months, I got arrested 5 times in, I don't know, a month, maybe.
Possession charges?
Possession, another DUI, breach of peace. I don't know,
Yeah,
a
all
lot,
this.
just
Okay.
back to back to back. Different counties in Connecticut. I'm not in the same place. I'm all over the place. I'm getting
Mhm.
arrested everywhere I go.
Yeah. Okay. So how long are you doing pills? Does it graduate to like Oxycontin at this point, or
I was doing Oxys, I was doing Opanas, I was doing Xanax, any morphine pills. I mean,
Opanas? Oh my God.
I know.
Those were the death of me.
Yeah, I like to mix them all like a little fruit cocktail.
Oh my God. Now, what are you doing? Are you sniffing them? Are you,
Sniffing. Yeah.
do you eventually shoot them or no?
Yes.
Okay. How long until you turn to using them intravenously?
After I went to rehab for the first time.
What year did you go to rehab?
2000, let's say 2012.
Okay. So you go to rehab.
Mhm.
What was that experience like? And how did you end up in rehab? Did like your mom jump in,
Oh
or?
no, probation. I was on probation for the second DUI.
Got it.
And they gave me I couldn't stay clean. So they were like, you have 2 options. It's like, all right, I'll go to detox. That's fine.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Over jail, 100%.
Yeah. Like, no problem.
So you go. Now
Yes.
you're forced there
Yeah.
legally.
Yeah.
Do you get anything out of it? And what was the experience like?
So I know for a fact I went into that treatment center with the mindset of I have a problem with drugs, but alcohol is not a problem. I'm not going to stop drinking. The drugs probably could slow down and maybe stop,
Mhm.
like I didn't really have any, there was no, I was not serious about it. I didn't,
Mhm.
like you said, I was doing it because I had to, not because I wanted to be there. And the only thing that I got out of there was a couple of, you know, low on the totem pole friends that were gonna, help me get what I needed in the future. And I heard about heroin. I heard a lot about heroin in there
Mhm.
and how amazing it is and what it feels like. And the thing was, I had tried it the night before I went in, but you know, my dealer did it for me. He missed my vein, and I was like, this isn't great. But then I heard more about it, and I'm like, well, if they love it so much and they're talking about it the way they're talking about it with the light in their eyes that they have, it must be good.
I
I got to
remember
try it again.
I remember going to rehab and they're like, "You do Oxys? Loser." And they're all doing heroin.
Yeah.
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 Okay, so you get out.
Mhm.
Now you said you were going to continue to drink. Did you start drinking immediately when you got out of rehab?
I bought heroin the day I got out of rehab.
Oh, you went right to, okay.
Yeah.
So
Mhm.
you really wanted to test it out.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you start doing heroin.
Yeah. Yeah.
Take us through that journey. Where does that take you?
That takes me to my mother having a restraining order on me. I'm living at my father's nasty apartment, or I'm couch hopping. I'm, sick all the time, stealing from everybody, lying and cheating and stealing. Um, my life it's terrible. Within like a year, my life is just a mess.
Okay. So it's probably around 2013
Yeah.
at this point.
Yeah.
Now the math correct. So 5 years. So you got sober in 2021. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's 8 years of running and gunning. Were there
Mhm.
more rehab stints? Was there any sobriety time during that 8 years?
No. So, like I said, things had gotten really bad within about a year span or so. And I decided the cure was to go back to college. I'm going to go back to school. Like, that's going to help. That's going to fix this, or at least that way I have an excuse as to why I'm still acting up at this age. Like, so I went back and I didn't know anybody. And I knew like one person that lived in Danbury, and I hit them up and we drank, and I told them that I was struggling with heroin. And this person suggested I get on methadone, that her mother was on methadone. And I'm like, that's the answer. That's going to fix me.
Mhm.
This is going to do it. So that's what I'm going to do. And that is what I did. So that is how I got those 8 years without going to rehab, without destroying my life too terribly, but it was awful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you were doing methadone pretty much those entire 8 years.
Yeah.
Were you just sticking to methadone, or
Oh,
were
no.
you then doing heroin when you could? Or
Yeah, like on the weekends, if I had like a couple hundred extra bucks, I'd go out and buy some. And,
Mhm.
it was pretty much every weekend. It was pretty much every weekend.
Okay. Were
So,
there more arrests during that time?
honestly, no, I should have been,
Mhm.
but I should have had at least 2 more DUIs, and I should have gotten arrested for possession. But I don't know. I didn't.
Yeah. I feel
I
like the methadone probably calmed you down a little bit. Like you're not doing as many drug runs because you're using heroin sporadically
Yeah,
during
yeah,
whenever the money was around. I feel like it kept you gra- I don't want to say grounded because you're still using heroin,
yeah,
but it kept you at bay a little bit
yeah.
and less at risk
Right,
over those
right.
8
I was
years.
making at least better decisions. I was like, well, I'm gonna wait till I get home to do my stuff.
Mhm.
So this way, I can't get in trouble. Like I'll be in my home. I had my own apartment, so that part was nice. I didn't have to like worry about anybody or worry about my mother knowing, or I
Mhm.
could just hide it from everybody.
Yeah.
And my pupils were pinned all the time anyway from the methadone, so you're not gonna know the difference.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah. Now, are you job hopping during this time over these 8 years? Are you able to really hold down a job at all, or?
I mean, I worked at Abercrombie for a while, for like 4 years. I worked at Plato's Closet simultaneously with Abercrombie, and then I got. I think I quit both of those jobs. I started working in a phone room. They fired me, and then I started working at a dental office, and they fired me.
Mhm.
So,
Okay. So take us through. You get sober. What's today? The 19th of June, 2021 is when you get sober.
mhm.
Now, you were living in Connecticut up until you got sober. You came down to Florida. Take us through the last year of your using. So, June 2020, roughly, to how you end up getting down here to Florida.
Okay, so that was probably the craziest year of all. Um, I started doing crack because I was so exhausted from the methadone and the heroin and all of that. And this gave me energy. I could do things. I had life to me. Like it was perfect. I was like, this is the new solution to this problem. So look at all my solutions that I'm finding, right? Like look
Mhm.
at how that's panning out, right? So this one's gonna work though. I had a lot of faith in this one. Um,
Crack is my solution.
yep.
I get it. I get
Mhm.
So go ahead.
And mind you, when I was working at that little dental office, right? When I started working there, uh, 2016, maybe 2017, I started also doing seeking arrangements, sugar daddies and stuff like that. Um, you know, and it was just at first it was just really like, experiences, a little extra cash, a little, spoil myself moment, like, it was all for the fun. Fast forward to that last year, um, I end up getting fired from the dental office because I'm smoking crack in the bathroom, and I like almost committed malpractice because I can't function, I can't think, I'm not sleeping, like it's,
Yeah.
so they had to let me go. Um, and at this point, I think COVID hit really shortly after, like right around the time I got fired. So it was actually like didn't look so bad to my family. And so at this point, I'm definitely not getting a job. I'm selling my body full time job right there. Men in and out of my apartment all day. I just don't care. I don't care that there's a pandemic going on outside. Nobody can leave their house. I don't have to leave my house. You're coming here. I'm fine.
Mhm.
I wouldn't leave my house. I had somebody to do all these little tasks for me. Go to the store, go to the grocery store. I had my guy bring me my drugs to my house. He was hiding things all over the house in the curtain rod behind the picture, and I would just call him because I had him on retainer. So I would just call him, and he'd be like, "Oh yeah, right there," because he knew I was good for the money. My mom was paying my rent. Everything was just extra income. I was living like a queen. I had endless amount of drugs in my home. Like, this was really like the highlight of my life at the time. Like, I was like, I've arrived. This is really,
So these guys you were finding on Seeking
yeah,
Arrangements,
yeah,
that whole year when you were having guys come over.
yeah.
Okay. And then your mom was paying your rent. Um, and then so you came out gay as a junior in college, I think you said. How
Oh,
were you just forcing yourself to be with men?
well, at the time, I guess I was bi, or I thought I was, and also I was doing it for the money. I was like, this is easy money. It's quick money. It's a
Hmm.
lot of money, really quick. Like, I didn't care.
How much were you making a week?
A week, uh, I mean, I had $1,000 a day hat, 5,000, 6,000.
Wow.
Yeah, and it would all go right to I didn't keep a dime,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah. Okay, so you're doing this your last year. When does the house of cards just fall down and then you eventually go to Florida?
Um, it was probably May of 2020. Everything stopped working.
2021, you mean?
20 No, 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 there was a year down here that I just didn't do well.
Oh, okay, okay.
So,
May 2020,
yeah,
got it.
yeah,
Okay.
May 2020. Um, at that point, I yeah, nothing was working all of a sudden. It was just like really out of nowhere. I'll never forget the night that I did my little shot and I was like, that's weird. I don't feel anything.
Mhm.
And I looked in the mirror and my pupils just got really, really big. And then from there I was just sick. I was sick, really, really sick. And nothing was helping. I went to the methadone clinic. They turned me away. They wouldn't dose me because I looked really, really bad. At this point, I had abscesses all up and down my arms. I looked like the Walking Dead. I looked like a skeleton. It was gross and really, really terrifying. I like walked in with a blanket over my head, like shivering in the middle of May, like, um, and they're like, "Don't dose her, don't dose her, send her home, send her home." So from there, I start telling my I had to tell my family at this point that I relapsed. They thought I was kidding. They couldn't believe it. Honestly, they hadn't seen me, so. And then I started to threaten that I was going to shoot up bleach just to get out of my house. So, because I knew they would call and I would go to the hospital. They send me to the psych ward or something like,
Mhm.
or the hospital, whatever. Um, so I did that a couple times. They were trying to find me a treatment center. A lot of places weren't taking people. A lot of places were being really strict on it, I guess. I don't know really what was going on. So I was in and out of the psych ward. The first time I went to the psych ward, they almost didn't keep me. They almost sent me right home and I had to have one of my sugar daddies beg them to keep me. Um, and then I eventually got into treatment up north, though. Um, and it was just, I just kept, I got kicked out. I got sent to the psych ward. I was out of my mind.
Back and forth, back and forth.
Just, yeah. I, I, I just, I didn't really want to be there. I didn't really know what to do, I guess. And it was just, I didn't want to listen. I didn't want anyone to tell me what to do. So I just fought with everybody, yelled at everybody, and then when I didn't get my way, I just threatened to take my own life.
Yeah.
Like that was like my solution there. Eventually I ended up going back to my apartment for like a week. And at that point though, I knew I couldn't live like that. I like knew with every, ounce of my being that I could not keep going, that I was going to die. And I was waiting to at that point. I was like writing my family little notes every day, like, or every time I'd use, like, I'm sorry, like, you know, I didn't know what else to do type of thing. Um, and I get a call from my insurance company during that week and they ask how I was doing. And I said, not good, not good. um, and then the next day, a treatment center down here in Florida in Boynton Beach called me. And they were like, we'll fly you down here. We'll, get you down here. We'll pick you up at the airport. Come down here. And I knew that the recovery down here was good. I knew it was strong. I had heard. And it also sounded like a vacation. So I was like, that sounds nice. Florida? Sure. Yeah, so I came down here.
You come down here, you go to the rehab in Boynton Beach.
Hmm.
You said there was a year down here where it wasn't great. I'm assuming, do you start using or drinking right when you get out of that rehab?
I didn't even get out. Like I never got out. Like I would go, detox, residential, PHP, IOP. I would make it like to IOP, and there they give you a little more freedom. And at that point I had the car back. My mom sent it down, and yeah, I was just like, I can drink successfully. I can do Whippets, because Whippets you can't test for. Like that's a good idea. So I was doing that, and yeah, back to treatment. One time I was doing air duster, and I was driving on the highway, actually in West Palm. And I lived in West Palm for a minute, and literally a minute. And I'm driving to go to IOP, and I did Whippets on the highway, crashed the car. Yeah. Into a ditch, like, and yeah. And then that was the last night I went out, because I had gone out and I was so miserable. I didn't even make it a full 24 hours. It was just like the night. And I was like begging them to come get me. I was like, just get me out of here. Like, this is awful. And I had gone back to the same treatment center all those times. And this last time they were like, we need to send you somewhere else. You need more help than we can offer you. And so I went to the last treatment center that I ever went to, and I just like got quiet and I listened. I didn't fight with everybody. Like, I was tired. I was really exhausted,
I was going to say, did you hit a new bottom where you were just sick and tired of feeling sick and tired? And I feel like in your story, there were a couple of those moments, but what was it about this particular moment? Was it just, all right. So for example, for me, my last treatment center, it was just, I had no energy to combat anyone. I was done. And I started to realize that there was only one way, and that the easier way would be just to surrender. And then my mind followed eventually.
Right.
Was that kind of your experience?
Yeah. Yeah. Like I said, I knew that I could not continue living the way I was living, even though I knew that way back when, a year prior. It was like this time I really, really knew.
Yeah.
Because, I thought that I'd go back out down here after a little bit of sobriety, and I'd be able to maintain like I did before, or I don't know what, And when I realized, and how quickly I realized that, like, it's miserable out there. It's truly miserable. It's not fun. And then I didn't want to feel like that anymore, or ever again. I guess I did. I put my hands up and I did surrender.
So you get out of the 30-day treatment inpatient facility. Do you go to another structured sober environment? Like, do you go to PHP or
Yeah, I did the
IOP?
whole thing again
Oh, wow.
at another facility.
Okay. And then how long were you in structured sober living for entirely? That first year?
Yeah, like a year, and then like 9 months and halfway.
Okay, so you did a year and 9 months in structured sober living.
Yeah.
Okay. Was that a huge differentiator for you? Did that really turn things around for you? Like, being in a structured environment versus just going and living back at your apartment or getting your own place?
Yeah, I mean, it helped. I hated it. I hated every minute of it. But really looking back, like, I definitely couldn't have just gone back and done it on my own. Like, I couldn't have just, I needed that structure. I needed people to be like, you have to be home at this time.
Yep. Accountability.
Yeah. Yeah. Here, you have to take this drug test. Like, yeah.
Okay. So after a year and 9 months, do you get your own place?
I moved in with another sober person.
Okay. Now, are you going to meetings at this point? Are you going to 12-step meetings? Are you taking the suggestions at those meetings? What are you doing for your sobriety outside of just the sober living during that time?
Okay, so yes. So shortly after I got into that halfway house, I was at a clubhouse, a meeting clubhouse, and I knew I needed a sponsor, because I had a sponsor by name prior to, and she had kind of gone off the rails a little bit. So, at this point I was like, I know this is what everybody's saying that I need to do. And I know that it's working for other people. So, but I didn't know how to do any of it. Like I was just kind of like sitting outside of the 12-step house. And I was just kind of like, oh my God, what do I do? And somebody said, are you okay? And I'm like, no, I don't, I'm like, I just don't know what I'm doing. He's like, all right, talk to these 2 girls over here. They're going to help you. So I said, okay. And I talked to them and I asked one of them to sponsor me. Um, and I did start taking her suggestions. I did. I really don't even know why. Like I think again, I saw like they looked happy, right? Like they looked like, you know, people like to be around them. I could tell. I saw people going up and talking to them and you know, you could see the light in their eyes. You could see that they were just happy.
It was the attraction.
Yeah, I was attracted to, yeah.
It was crazy because when I saw that, your exact experience, I'm like, there's no way they're happy without drugs and alcohol. I was so brainwashed and so I couldn't fathom someone being happy without drugs and alcohol.
Yeah.
So seeing that, I was like, there's no fucking way. You know what? Let me ask them to sponsor me and let's see if this is for real.
Yeah.
And then it was for real. So, okay. Do you immediately start doing work on yourself? Because we know drugs, alcohol, let's say gambling addiction, sex addiction, the problem is in here.
So I was part of a hardcore 12-step group. I don't know if you've ever heard of the South Florida group. So that was my first experience in AA. Now, I know there's a lot of controversy like regarding, the South Florida group, but they kicked my ass into gear and I needed it. I needed that like, here, I'm picking you up tonight. We're going to a meeting. You have to be in a meeting every night, 7 days a week. Like what length would you go to for your addiction? What length would you go to get those drugs? Like you're doing the same for your recovery. And I had nothing better going on. I'm back at the UPS store working that little job again because I'm like, I want a low stress job. So I'm not, and I'm living in halfway and I don't really have any friends. So, okay. So I'm in meetings every night. Our meetings are not just an hour, they're like 3 hours. There's the meeting before the meeting after the meeting. We're walking the parking lot. They're trying to get me to get honest. And like they're asking me questions and they're, and half the time I'm just like, I didn't know what was like honest. Like I was just like a brain fog, so much brain fog. Just like, I don't know. Like, how are you doing? I don't know. I didn't know. But slowly but surely I would get honest and I would like start telling them like what's going on and like how I'm feeling. And, that was like my first introduction into like getting honest with somebody else. Crazy concept.
Right. I was honest with nobody. Getting honest with someone meant that you really get to know who I am.
Yeah.
And if you get to know who I am, you're not going to like me.
Yeah.
Because I didn't like myself.
Yeah.
Like I was disgusting under all those, the layers of the onion. You can't know what's really going on with me. But it's crazy because not knowing, they'd ask you, how are you doing? You're like, I don't know. I went through the same experience, but and it sounds like you did too. I had smart feet and I just kept putting myself around those people. And I don't know how I'm feeling. And I truly did not know because I was so out of touch with my feelings.
Yeah.
Because I was so used to pushing everything down, never wanted to deal with the feelings, and I would numb out with drugs and alcohol for so long. So when someone would ask me, I really wouldn't know. And I would just continue to have smart feet and put myself around those people and go to those meetings. And it's also funny because up in New York, I went to the same type of meeting that you went to, the home group that I went to. And in one of these meetings, you have to say what step you're on. And your sponsor has to be from that meeting. It doesn't have to be, but they strongly recommend that your sponsor be part of that home group too. So that if you sit there and lie and say, oh, I'm on step 10 and your sponsor's standing right there in the room with you, you're not going to lie about it. And if you're sitting there saying, I'm on step 4 next week, I'm on step 4 next week, I'm on step 4, then people will come up to you. Be like, dude, you've been sitting on your 4th step for X amount of time. Let's go, get moving, start doing the work on yourself. And I needed that. And the meeting got a bad rep from a lot of other people, but that got me sober in the beginning. I needed that. I needed that like militant style 12-step program.
Yeah. Yeah.
It changed my life.
So we also didn't really, I mean, I don't want to say we didn't work our steps, but they told you when you took step 1. They would tell you. And, you know, I got to about a year sober and I hadn't worked any steps. It felt like, you know, I'd hear other people's experiences and I'm like, you know, and then I'd try to be sponsoring other girls because they were really big on helping the newcomer, helping others, you know, like that was our solution. But like when your solution isn't helping somebody else, like because I see that person struggling and I don't really have a solution for them because the solution's in those steps. What am I supposed to do? Like, and I was like, I can't continue this. Like,
Yeah.
you know, and I told my sponsor and, you know, it was a beautiful moment because she was kind of feeling the same. She had been part of that group for like 5 years at that point. Me it was only a year and I was like, this is not working. Like, I don't know, this isn't working anymore. And for her, she was starting to feel the same.
Yeah.
And she ended up getting a new sponsor and I ended up keeping her and we ended up working the steps. Like my first time working the steps, I had about a little over a year.
Wow.
So at that point, it was like really easy for me to really dive into that work and to really be honest and to really answer those questions and not just surface level.
Mm-hmm.
So
What did you learn about yourself going through the 12 steps? I'm sure you learned a lot, but what was one of the things that stood out the most?
that I'm not as big of a piece of shit that like I thought that I was.
That's powerful.
Yeah.
The guilt and the shame. That kept me out for like 8 years,
Yeah.
actively using, trying to get sober. I thought I was such a piece of shit. And I did some shitty things in active addiction. And I would use those things that defines me.
Mhm.
That's who I am. And it's not who I was. Drugs, alcohol, addiction, it's a disease.
Mhm.
And we do what we have to do to stay alive. Yeah, we wrong people, we steal from people. Those things are wrong 1000%. But also, too, we need to give ourselves a little bit of grace in order to recover, or you're not going to recover.
Yeah.
And when you move that aside, especially in the beginning, and you allow yourself to recover, you'll get to the amends process and you'll right those wrongs. Did you get to the amends process?
Yes.
How was the amends process for you?
It was so freeing. Like I had let go of like 20 bags of luggage that I was just carrying on my back. Like, you know, to be able to like tell my mother, you know, like a true apology, you know, cuz how many times did I say sorry to her? You know what I mean? But like to really and it was funny because when I went to my mother, I was like, "Mom, I have to, you know, I'd like to talk to you for a minute." You know, at this point, you know, like I said, I probably had almost 2 years at this point, you know. And she goes, "What did I do?" I was like, "What?"
Yeah. Yeah.
Like that was
Aw.
that was crazy for me.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
because normally it's like, "Okay, what did you do now?" You know?
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
It's a beautiful process.
mhm,
And we go into it and you can't have expectations. Some people may not accept your apology,
mhm.
but you at this point had about 2 years of sobriety. Was the trust back with your mom too? Did it take time for your mom to really start to trust you again, or did she start trusting you immediately?
No.
Yeah.
It took a long, long time, you know? Even still, sometimes I'll go home and I'll wanna go out with a friend or something. "You're not gonna be drinking, are you?"
Yeah.
Like, "No, Ma." What?
Yeah. Yeah.
She still has to question, she still has to make sure, you know?
Mm-hmm. Because she cares and she loves
Yeah,
you.
and I put her through a lot,
Yeah.
you know?
Let me ask you a question. So she paid your rent.
Mhm,
She got you a car when you came down to Florida.
mhm.
Do you think that enabled you?
Yeah, well, yes, yeah, I was very enabled. That was just one car. I mean, I've gone through 7 cars in my addiction.
Yeah.
I've totaled 7 cars, and each time my family bought me a new car. You know, there was a lot of things that they did. I mean, they were doing it out of love because they wanted me to be happy. They wanted to be able to help me, you know. They wanted the best for me, right?
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, but you know, I remember having that talk with my family like when I started to get sober like you have to stop enabling me, you know. Like this is not helping me anymore.
Yeah. Now, your father, you had said, was struggled with alcoholism.
Mhm.
How was that when you got sober? Did you have to set boundaries with your father?
I actually don't talk to him. Yeah, I can't.
Okay.
You know, he has a lot of mental health issues as well. So he's very difficult to even have a conversation with. He does not understand boundaries. So I've had to kind of remove him from my life. I haven't seen him since he dropped me off at the airport to go to detox 6 years ago. So, and last time I talked to him was a couple years ago, and it was so bad that I blocked him, and I've just kind of left it as is since.
I'm sorry to hear that.
Yeah.
Now, what are you doing today?
Oh my goodness, what am I not doing today? I'm doing it all.
Well, you brought your girlfriend here.
Yes, I did.
That is so amazing. You guys, the energy between you two, it really is. It's amazing. And those are the gifts of sobriety. Like, we can show up in relationships today. We can show up even in friendships today and be an active participant.
Yes, like in society, in friendships and relationships, like it's crazy, you know? Like the gifts of sobriety, like they're real. Like they're really, and that's something I was so skeptical of. And like looking at my life today, like, I I got the gift of dancing back. I do music videos with my dance studio. I do performances once a year. I dance every week. I'm in that studio, like, and that's like my time to like connect with God and like, it's like when I'm the most happy, joyous, and free because I'm not thinking about anything. I'm just enjoying and I'm learning and I'm working out, and um like my it's like my favorite thing to do. I do that. I work for a law firm. They're the ones that helped me go back to school and finish my degree. And 2 years ago, I graduated on Mother's Day. I picked up my diploma. Like
Congratulations.
best Mother's Day gift I could have given my mother. All her hard earned money that she had to put into my college career. Like I finally got that diploma. I'm a paralegal now for my office where I work and the office manager, so I do it all. But I love it and I work for amazing people. I do the TikTok thing we were talking about earlier. I get to, you know, um, bring joy to people through doing that. I know I try to help a lot of people through doing that. My life is just I have friendships. I've never had real friends. Like that's crazy to me that I have people that I can count on, people that can count on me. It's life is so beautiful. Life is today is I mean, it's not always easy. It's not always easy, but it's beautiful.
And it's the simple becoming a paralegal, your company helping you get through school, you graduating, and then you're the office manager. The responsibility that comes along with that, like people depend on us now. It's truly amazing. It's a gift within itself. And I congratulate you on all of those things. You are what is your TikTok, by the way?
My handle?
Yeah, so people could follow you.
Oh, it's Britflix with 3 X's.
FLIXXX.
Yes.
And how many T's in Brit?
2.
All right, so BRITTFLIXXX.
Yeah.
Love it. So people definitely check her out. Congratulations. Congrats on 5 years. Congrats on all the things you're doing. Congrats on the relationship. And if you had one piece of advice for someone who was in your shoes where you were, let's call it 6 years ago, what would be that one piece of advice?
I always say the same thing when people ask me this because it was like the most powerful thing that I've heard my entire sobriety. Somebody told me, no matter how difficult things are, no matter how uncomfortable, no matter how painful it might be right now, just get through it. Get through it, and it's going to be more beautiful on the other side. And that's been my experience every single time.
The feelings always pass. How you're feeling in that moment, it always passes. And you'll get through it.
Yeah. Just stay sober.
Yeah. Well, Brittany, I want to thank you for coming on. I appreciate you coming up here from Fort Lauderdale. You're doing amazing. Congrats again today on 5 years of sobriety. And thank you for all that you do.
Thank you.